Black Friday is coming up really soon. It will be here before you know it. And it is such a divisive subject, such an important date in the retail calendar that I wanted to just run through a few of my thoughts. So if you are not quite yet decided on what you're doing, or if you have made a decision but you're just thinking it over, or if you just want to know what all of the fuss is about, then this is the episode for you. We're going to be going through what Black Friday is, what it means for small businesses, some of the pros and cons of taking part, as well as sharing some ideas for you to take away to help grow the sales in your business.
Welcome to the Resilient Retail Game Plan, a podcast for anyone wanting to start, grow, or scale a profitable creative product business with me, Catherine Erdley. The Resilient Retail Game Plan is a podcast dedicated to one thing: breaking down the concepts and tools that I've gathered from 20 years in the retail industry and showing you how you can use them in your business. This is the real nuts and bolts of running a successful product business, broken down in an easy, accessible way. This is not a podcast about learning how to make your business look good. It's the tools and techniques that will make you and your business feel good. Confidently plan, launch, and manage your products, and feel in control of your sales numbers and cash flow to help you build a resilient retail business.
Welcome to the Resilient Retail Game Plan. Hi, everyone. I'm your host, Catherine Erdley, as well as the founder of the Resilient Retail Club, which is my membership group and mastermind for product businesses. You can find out more at resilientretailclub.com. And if you use the code 10podcast, that's 10podcast, then you can get £10 off your first month in the club. So this week we are talking all about Black Friday. So let's start off with the obvious question, which is, what is Black Friday? Black Friday is the day after Thanksgiving. It is a US holiday that has been imported into the UK. And it's kind of funny because I actually lived in the US for a long time. I worked in retail over there. And it's kind of funny how we've imported Black Friday without the idea of Thanksgiving, which is a bit of a shame because Thanksgiving is a really lovely American holiday. It's all about spending time with family, friends, and having great food and being thankful for what you have, which is really lovely and warm. And then you go straight into Black Friday the day after, which is typically the day that kicks off the Christmas holiday season in the US. Now, in the UK, we tend to switch over to really focusing on Christmas just after bonfire night, so early November. In the US, Thanksgiving kind of holds off the Christmas rush just a little bit longer. So really, when it comes to Black Friday, it's almost like everyone's money is suddenly unleashed and they're really focused on Christmas purchasing. It kind of compresses the Christmas shopping, if you like, into a shorter period in the US, because up until that point, people are really focused on Thanksgiving and fall. And lots of people in the US really love seasonal decorating, for example. So they'll be all decorated for fall. And then pretty much soon after Thanksgiving is done, I used to work for a company. We used to go home. We had Thanksgiving off, which is always the Thursday. When we actually worked Black Friday, it was a retail business, so you can understand why. And we would walk in on Black Friday and the whole office would be decorated. This massive office would be decorated head to toe for Christmas. So it really was that switch. So it's, as I said, slightly ironic that we've imported the idea of Black Friday without the idea of Thanksgiving as well. So it's sort of slightly odd. Now it's just really about promotions, or it's about people really focusing on their Christmas shopping. It is going to be on the 24th of November this year. And based on the numbers that we've seen from Black Friday 2022, it's only getting bigger. So last year, the UK spent 8.71 billion on Black Friday weekend, and then a further 1.7 billion on Cyber Monday, which is the following Monday after that. This was 8.3% up on the year in 2022. So you can see that people are seeing this as they're kicking off for Black Friday, and they're kicking off for their Christmas shopping specifically. So what we tend to see then is that the customer does tend to hold back now. They know that there's things coming, there's deals coming, even though there's a growing skepticism amongst consumers to how good some of these deals are. For example, last year there was a lot of news stories around the fact that a lot of these deals were perhaps not the best deals that they'd been all year. They were just dressed up to look like that. And I think that's where a lot of people have a problem with Black Friday, is that a lot of big retailers will actually be doing these so-called deals, which actually are ways that they've brought stock in at a certain price, knowing they're going to sell it on promotion. And sometimes it's even been on promotion at lower prices earlier in the year, but it's touted as this amazing deal for Black Friday, which is why I think there's a healthy dose of skepticism around the discounting that happens on Black Friday, and why some people find it a holiday that they really don't gel with. Incidentally, the origins of the name, I've heard lots of different conflicting things. The one that I was always told when I lived in the US was that Black Friday was so called because it was the day that the retailers went into the black. So they traded in the red or at a loss all the way through the year. But then on Black Friday, when everybody opened up their wallets and started spending for Christmas, that was when they went into the black. So is that true? Who knows? But this just highlights the importance of it as the start of the Christmas shopping season. So this is the idea now that a lot of people have about Black Friday, is that it's all about the discounting. So there are pros and cons to that. Obviously, it means that people will then be ready to spend once it's Black Friday, because it's almost like they've seen all the cards are on the table now. They know what people are planning for their discounts and their offers. But it can also mean that sometimes in the run up to Black Friday, we see a drop off in customer engagement or customer spending, because in all reality, the best will in the world, if you're sitting there on a Tuesday before Black Friday and you know that you want to buy Christmas presents, a lot of people will think, I'm going to buy it anyway at full price. I might as well just see and wait and see if they're going to do an offer. So you may see a depression in your sales in the run up to Black Friday, but then the flip side of that is that it is a huge spending weekend and really kicks off the start of the holiday season. It's actually meant that for a lot of retailers now, November is the biggest month of the year. For years, when I first started in retail back in 2000, December was the busiest month of the year, no doubt, the biggest month of the year every year. Whereas now, actually, what with Black Friday is that it's pulled some of that demand, some of that Christmas shopping demand back into November. So for a lot of people, November will actually be their biggest month. So what does it mean for a small business? I think the key thing about Black Fridays, my opinion on it very much, is that you shouldn't feel obligated to take part, and you absolutely shouldn't feel ashamed to take part if it works for you as a business owner. Black Friday, for sure, typically is related to this idea of big retailers with their big discounts, which may or may not be actual real discounts based on how they've worked their numbers. But it isn't really designed, or it's not really just what people associate with Black Friday with these super heavy discounts. It doesn't really work for small business owners. So if you're sitting here thinking, do you know what? I actually just don't want to take part, then that is a completely valid point of view. I don't feel like anybody should feel that they have to take part. Incidentally, if you like the idea of doing some kind of offer, but you don't necessarily want to tie it to Black Friday because of the connotations of the heavy discounting and that kind of thing, overconsumption, people fighting over discounted TVs, that kind of thing, it doesn't always have the nicest association. Then there are plenty of alternatives, indie alternatives. So for example, Just a Card, the grassroots campaign, they have their Indie Week, which is the week running up to Black Friday. And for example, the original small business campaign as well, Small Business Saturday, is the following week. If you think that's a better tie-in for you, then that's also another option. You could just completely opt out of it altogether. The pros of why would you even think about taking part? So the pros of taking part in Black Friday are more visibility. This is the time when more people are looking for products. They are shopping. This is a shopping weekend. You can take part, get your piece of the £8.7 billion pie. And also, it can also obviously drive sales. People are they're looking for some kind of deal. And so therefore, you are more likely to sell on Black Friday weekend than almost any other time. So if you want to do something in your business, it is not a bad choice at all of when to do it. I often think about when you're offering deals, it's almost like you're trying to surf a wave. You want to be trying to catch the wave of the customer spending. This is the weekend that customers are spending. So why not take part? That the other thing is it can be quite engaging if you come up with a fun offer and a fun way of talking about it. it can be really super engaging for your customer base. And so there are definitely reasons why you might want to think about it. Obviously, the reasons not to, margin pressure if you're offering discounts, although we'll talk about that a little bit more about how different ways that you can approach that maybe will avoid some of that margin pressure. It can be a super noisy time of year and it can put you under a lot of stress. Actually, I do quite a lot of work with people who've had fast growth in their business. And one of the pinch points is often around that Black Friday. If they have a really successful Black Friday, that's something that has to be really planned in advance in order to make sure that they've got the operational team that they need and just some of the basic packaging and space and time and ability to fulfill. So it can put a lot of pressure on you if you do have a really big Black Friday, as much as it's obviously a lot of people's dreams to have a huge month in November and December. It can also be super stressful as well and has to be planned out really carefully. So let's say that you do want to do something for Black Friday. What I want to run through is a few ideas around some steps you can take to make it a little bit easier for you, or to make it more effective, I should say. So again, if you want, I think that a very valid approach for Black Friday is just to say, nope, I don't discount, I don't do offers, and that's it. It is what it is. But if you want to do something, then there are lots of different options for you, and there's lots of different things that you can think about. A few steps that I would take when it comes to approaching Black Friday. And this can be true whether or not you've already got a plan in place and you want to just review it, or whether or not you've not even thought about it at all. The first thing is, I think that Black Friday or that time period cannot be looked at in isolation. You really want to be thinking about the entirety of the Christmas selling period. Now we are well into November, so there isn't that long left. But that's just to say that if you are going to do something, some kind of offer on Black Friday, that may be the one thing that you do for this whole season. So you might just want to get that clear in your mind. Have a think about what you want to do. Have a think about how that flows throughout other messages that you've got and other deals that you might be offering. Some people, for example, might take part in something like Red Magazine or the Glorious Edit or the Wonderlist or one of these online offers or online promotions, secret sales types things. And so they maybe will not actually be doing an offer themselves as a standalone thing at Black Friday, but they know they're going to be doing an offer at another point. That's absolutely fine. But make sure you've mapped all of that out, because what you don't want is lots of different messages, lots of different discounts going on, and lots of different offers, which gets confusing for the customer. You want a really clear structure to your promotional offer, ideally with a mix of different things that you're doing at different times. And then Black Friday kind of slots into that. It is one part of the puzzle, it is not the whole thing. And also, looking into it like this can avoid you making knee-jerk decisions. So one of the dangers of Black Friday is when people suddenly arrive on the day and think everyone else is doing something, I should be doing something. And then they start doing it, and they start having offers, or they just put on a promotion really last minute, and it's not the best option for them. It's much better to be doing it in a planned out way rather than just a knee jerk, oh, I'm going to take money off everything, because that might not actually be the right decision for you. So first of all, think about how your offers all fit together across the whole time period as opposed to just that Black Friday time. The second thing is to decide on what you're going to offer. What are you actually going to talk about and offer to your customers on Black Friday? And there's lots and lots of different options here. It was interesting. I went to a panel talk earlier in October, which was hosted by a Shopify Plus agency. And they had a panel of people talking about their preparations for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And one of the things that a lot of the retailers who were on the panel were talking about was it doesn't have to be a big discount. We tend to think about Black Friday equals massive money off, your TV, sofa. Keep using those examples because that's what I always think about when I think about Black Friday offers. But it really doesn't have to be that. It does not have to be a deep discount. There's so many different things that you could offer on Black Friday that can make it fun and interesting. As I said, your stance could be that you're not taking part. Your stance could be, I'm not taking part in Black Friday, but keep an eye out for my Small Business Saturday offer. It could be that you offer something additional to your customers on Black Friday. You could offer them a gift with purchase, free shipping, free gift wrap that weekend only. You can also create excitement, not through discounts, but by exclusive items. So actually one of the retailers that was on the panel, that was their whole plan, was there was going to be gift bundles that they were launching on Black Friday. So it was specific for that time. And there was going to be a specific color that was only available on Black Friday, for example. So it added that excitement and exclusivity. I think there's definitely, obviously, it's hard to do. You're listening to this podcast and we're just about to hit Black Friday. It's kind of hard to pull this one out of your pocket last minute. But definitely thinking about in the future for next year, what about something like a new product launch or an exclusive product for Black Friday? That could be a really nice way of doing something that is different, exciting, brings customers to you, but isn't around discounting. You can also do multi-buy offers or bundle offers. So encouraging people to spend more with you, thinking about it that way for Black Friday. So you're encouraging them, for example, to get a gift set, which is a special price for Black Friday, but it's maybe more than your average order value is normally. So you're expecting them to trade up or getting them to trade up in return for a slight discount on the bundle. There's lots and lots of different things that you can offer. You can also offer something like, for example, targeted offers. So you could have discounts off lines, but they are often slow moving lines. And this brings me to one of my key points when it comes to Black Friday. On Black Friday, think about the fact that promotions look like they're for the customer, but they're actually for you as the business owner. So they look like they're for the customer, they're actually for the business owner. And that means that when it says discount off certain lines, what you're doing is you're using that discount to shape the consumer's behavior to push them towards certain lines that you're a bit heavier on stock of. A great opportunity, for example, if you've got really super Christmas specific products that you're beginning to worry you're not going to sell through in time for Christmas, and you know that no one's going to buy them after Christmas, you're going to have to hold on to them till next year. That's the kind of thing you definitely want to be targeting for your Black Friday offer. So think about how you want to structure your offer, think about what you actually want to give away, and make sure that it works for you as the business owner. That's why I'm not the biggest fan of the blanket offer. So blanket is 20% off everything. Often on Black Friday, people feel compelled to go 25%, 30% off everything, because that's what you need to cut through the noise. Trouble with those is, first off, they can work super well, especially if you haven't done an awful lot of them. If you haven't done an awful lot of blanket discounts previously, then doing a blanket discount on Black Friday can work really well, especially if your customer knows that this is not something that you normally do. So I definitely have clients who will have this in their strategy. They'll do one or two of these offers a year. One of them will be Black Friday to take advantage of the footfall, but they will be very super limited time and only a couple of times a year. The real issue comes when you do it repeatedly and when you do it, when, to be honest, you could have done something else, like really got people to focus in on specific lines. The reason I prefer those specific discounts off a certain number of lines is because, as I said, it helps you get what you need as the business owner out of the discount, which is clearing through some stock that you really don't want to be sitting on forever. The issue with the blanket discounts is that people will buy your best sellers and they will buy them and they will sell. And so you'll sell through them. If you could have sold them at full price, but now you've sold them at a discount, then that can really hit your bottom line hard. But overall, what you want to be thinking about with this offer is that it doesn't have to be a discount. It doesn't have to be a deep discount necessarily if you are discounting. It could be something nice, it could be something different. But ultimately, what you want is something that works for you as the business owner and is enabling you to have a conversation with your customer. You could actually do something that isn't a discount at all. The one that I always do as an example, the shining example of how to do Black Friday, Lucy and Yak, the dungaree clothing brand, they actually don't discount, but they do an enhanced charitable donation over Black Friday. It's super engaging for the customer. Lots of people get really engaged with it because they talk a lot about what they're doing, the money that they're raising, the number of girls that they're sending to school, because that's their whole link is with a school in India, in the same place where their factory is. And so it's meaningful to them, it's meaningful to the customer, and it's just a really great example. Bring this example up a lot because it's a great example of when we think about promotions, it doesn't have to be a discount. And then they drove a lot of sales through this charitable donation, but actually when it all boils down to it, they're not giving a discount, and it's getting the customer on board, and it's super engaging for the customer as well and rewarding for the customer as well because they can feel good about it. So there's lots and lots of different options then for you to have for your specific offer for Black Friday. So one of the key things to do is really think about what you want it to be, the timing of it. And then the last thing really is to communicate this with your customer. And this is really important, even if you almost especially if you're not going to be doing anything. Because if you're not going to be doing a discount, remember, as I said a little while ago, that right before Black Friday, the customer often stops buying because they want to see what's going to happen. So if you know you're not going to be offering a discount, it may well be worth your while to say to your customer, just want to let you know. And there's lots of nice ways you can word it. So, for example, as a small business owner, we believe in not encouraging overconsumption, or we have margin pressures that the big businesses don't have. Therefore, we believe in our prices, that we offer a fair price for the quality of the product. And therefore, at this time of year, we don't offer a discount. So, wanted to make you aware so that if you're thinking of doing your Christmas shopping, I can guarantee to you that you won't be regretting it because I'm going to be discounting later. So that is a great message you can send out there. It can be super positive, super engaging. But even if that's what you're planning on doing, which is nothing, make sure you communicate it. With everything else, it's a little bit trickier because obviously if you are planning on a discount, I don't think it's a great idea to broadcast that too much to the customers, because it can then just mean that they will stop buying until the discount comes out. But you can certainly tease things. You can certainly tell them you've got something exciting coming, etc., etc. Tease that sort of thing so they know there's something coming up. And once you are in that promotion, you need to be shouting about it in the same way that you would if it was a new product launch. People often put up promotions and then they feel kind of funny about talking about it. But if you've got a promotion planned for Black Friday, you need to absolutely be spot on with talking about it on social media, talking about what a great deal it is, talking about all the things you can get in that deal. Make sure you're emailing your list several times, so to tell them to launch it, to tell them that it's launched, tell them, when it's ending, just a few hours to go. Really over communicate as much as possible, because if you're going to go to the effort of doing a discount, doing a deal for your customers, you want to really make sure that they know all about it, and that it's not going to be something that you really feel like, oh, I didn't get much of a reaction. It's because you haven't taken the time to plan how you're going to really push it and promote it. The last thing you want is people who are landing on your website anyway, planning to buy at full price, and then seeing that you've got a discount and getting 20% off. If you're going to go give away something as valuable as 20% off everything, you need to make sure that you're getting that message out there wide as you possibly can. It's trickier. Obviously, it's a very noisy time. Everybody's out there shouting, but you've got to be out there talking about it too, especially to your email list. Which brings me on to my final point, which is don't forget, whatever you do on Black Friday, make sure that your email subscribers get something extra. So it could be an extra day if you're offering free gift wrapping. It could be if you're doing free postage that they get an upgrade to premium, or again, another day of free postage. Whatever it is, just really think about how you can make your email subscribers feel special, how you can make them feel like this is something extra for them, and also gives people an incentive to sign up to your email list. So you could, in the run up to Black Friday, for example, be saying to people, hey, I've got something really exciting coming up. Make sure you're on my email list so you'll be the first to know. So those are my top tips for Black Friday. Make a decision, decide if you want to take part or not. Once you've decided that, have a look at your overall messaging so you don't have too many messages going out at the same time. Make sure you've got a clear plan for the run up to Christmas, and decide what kind of offer you want to have, and if you want to have one at all. And then make sure you communicate it. Shout about it as loud as you can. Make sure that whatever you're doing, you're really sharing it with your customers so that they know that they can get amazing product from an incredible small business, which are going to delight their loved ones this Christmas, and they're going to get it with something extra special this particular weekend. Or if it's not the Black Friday weekend, it's another weekend, whatever weekend it is or time that it is that you do a promotion, just make sure that you are really shouting about it as much as you possibly can, as something that to be really proud of and to entice your customers. And share your enthusiasm, share your excitement, and make sure that they know all about it. So thanks so much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Why not head over to Instagram at Resilient Retail Club and let me know what your plans are for Black Friday. And if you've got any questions, then do give me a shout. And of course, if you have a moment to rate and review the podcast on Apple Podcasts or rate it within the app in Spotify, then that is a huge help in getting the podcast out in front of more people. And of course, if you follow or subscribe to the podcast, you'll be the first to know about every new episode, which comes out every Thursday. Thanks so much.